Good morning, distinguished judges. We are a team from Nanjing University. My name is Qinglan, and my partners are Meiling, Jiayi, and Yuyao. Today, we are excited to be here to show how WeChat Pay can promote small and medium enterprises' prosperity. As we can see, SMEs actually play an important role in China's economy, since more than 90% of Chinese companies are SMEs, and they created 80% of job opportunities, owned over 70% of patents, and contributed to more than 50% of tax revenue, as well as 60% of GDP in the country. However, not just in China, but around the world, SMEs are always struggling. Statistics show that about 20% of SMEs fail in the first year, and only 1/3 survive for 10 years or more. Such a difficult situation is caused by the lack of funds, human resources, and business skills. Financial institutions are reluctant to lend money due to the high risks and lower margin profits. Even more deadly, the outbreak of the COVID-19 has made SMEs more vulnerable in dealing with risk. With opportunities and challenges coexisting, SMEs have won the attention of Tencent and got the government's support. The government released policies like tax reduction, rent relief, payment deferrals, and subsidies. At the same time, some banks actively offer loans to SMEs. Tencent not only wants to help SMEs develop businesses, but also tries to facilitate financial inclusion. And the best result is to create value for both WeChat and SMEs. Such a goal fully reflects Tencent's advanced philosophy in ESG. When trying to promote WeChat among SMEs, Tencent meets several problems. For example, I am an old woman who sells vegetables and fruits in the countryside. I don't have a mobile phone, and even if I have one, I will not use WeChat Pay because I want to attach the real cash. That's a payment method challenge. Second, skipped payment may still happen offline even with a mobile phone voice confirmation. That's because whether to pay it or not and how much to pay is controlled by the customers. Third, some companies have higher requirements for information to gain profit. Even individual business owners need to know how much I get today and what's the cost today. But usually they do not have enough knowledge or time to deal with the bills and accordingly change their sales strategy. As a result, we have the chance to combine payment service with information offer service. Moreover, personal payment collection QR code can be used by bad-hearted people to do something illegal. If we'd like to solve these problems, first we need a deep understanding of our target users, SMEs. We have high demand users, low demand users, and potential users who never use WeChat Pay. High demand users refer to SMEs with larger scale who exist in the form of companies. They need a lot of business information to manage the company, so we can call them high demand users. Different from high demand users, low demand users are often self-employed, such as fruit stand owners, convenience store owners, and ice cream truck owners. They usually only care about their selves' life. And unused demand is not high as well compared to LDUs, but they have never used WeChat Pay for many reasons, whether they don't want to use it or they can't use it. For these three groups, we propose two strategies. Now, let's welcome my partner Meiling to introduce the strategy overview.
Okay, thank you, Qinglan. To have a better insight into our two strategies, let's first go through the outline. According to the two different types of target consumers, our first strategy is set for those who are already WeChat Pay users. Faced with four challenges, including payment confirmation, business operation, security issues, and profitability weakness, We think of our 4 solutions to improve service quality by applying mini-posts, AI system, insurance, and digital forecast, data analysis, and lastly, to build up a self-recommendation channel. The second strategy is otherwise aimed at those who have no access to WeChat Pay and those who are unwilling to use it. To expand this potential market, we expect to design a mini program by interviewing, testing, and promoting accordingly. The next page, please. To meet the needs of these 2 different groups, we designed 2 interfaces. On one side, for some of the existing users that have upper needs for more dedicated care for business management, we designed a website to provide high-level services by applying digital technology. One point has to be made here that Chinese government has made a ban on commercial use of personal payment codes. Therefore, our website is identified with the enterprise account, which can also charge extra commission. Users have to upload business license for registration to acquire mentioned advanced functions. Otherwise, only basic services will be available. In addition, to ensure transaction safety, the owner is asked to bind his bank account for capital using rights. On the other side, we design a simplified mini program with basic functions. For instance, providing choice for mini posts, binding, display payment, and receiving codes, offer digital records of daily payments, and produce monthly and yearly statistic trends. In this way, WeChat Pay can both maintain lower demand users and attract potential users. The next page, please. And then we propose the strategy 1 to address the needs of the merchants who are already using WeChat Pay. The first is for customers with low-level needs. We'll solve their payment confirmation difficulties by offering mini-posts. Merchants can place mini-post orders on our website or in our mini program. They have to submit proof of business operation or pay a certain amount. After the salesman is satisfied, the mini post will be delivered to the merchant, and the mini post can only be used by that merchant. How to use it is very simple. The merchant enters the amount of the bill, and then the customer put the QR code on their phones to the mini post to scan. Next page, please. The second is for the customers with higher order needs. They are suffering from operational inefficiencies and high time costs. We want to build an AI operation system to help them solve the above difficulties. The system includes financial system, order system, production management system, logistics systems, etc. Next, let's take the financial system and order system as examples to understand how to achieve intelligent operation. The AI finance can automatically generate daily bookkeeping reports, monthly reports, quarterly reports, and annual reports through the daily cash flow of merchants using WeChat Pay. It is worth mentioning that the annual report will be presented in the form of a financial statement, saving merchants a lot of time in bookkeeping. The AI orders are presented in the form of an applet. Customers place orders on the applet, and merchants can get orders on the applet and dispatch them to customers. And customers can learn about the order process, express their needs, and get after-sales service on the applet. With AI orders, merchants can get orders more clearly and reduce communication costs. Next, let's welcome my partner Yu Yao for the next part.
Okay, thank you, Mei-Ling. For customers with higher order needs, they also face a second difficulty, which is that their security cannot be guaranteed. On the one hand, the unexpected natural disasters or public health events may collapse SMEs' operations. On the other hand, market changes and economic downturns can put tremendous pressure on SMEs. In response to unforeseen events, we plan to provide insurance for SMEs as a way to increase economic resilience. If a business loses plants or equipment, for example, in a natural disaster, it will receive half of its remaining book value. For COVID-19, those merchants who are unable to start work or for more than 100 days will receive one-fifth of their previous year's profits as compensation. We provide digital forecasts and alerts for market changes. By monitoring macro data and setting risk values, once the data fluctuates beyond the set risk value, alerts are sent to SMEs on our website. For customers with higher order needs, they also face difficulties in digital transformation. Digital transformation is an important way for many SMEs to achieve growth. Therefore, WeChat Pay can empower SMEs' digital transformation in two ways. The first is data analysis.
The screen has to change to another page. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, the first is data analysis and market monitoring. By portraying consumer preferences in the market and analysis competitors' behavior in real time, the AI will make recommendations to advance SME's digital transformation, taking into account its own production situation. The second way is to launch a self-referral program, where potential SMEs can upload their financial data and main business information on the website. And so that Tencent will determine the growth potential of the SMEs and decide whether to invest in the company. This program will help more potential SMEs to obtain sufficient funds and technical support from the Tencent. On the other hand, we tend to enlarge the user base of enterprise WeChat Pay. But why it's necessary? This is attributed to several unsolved problems among the new people, mostly in lower-tier cities. One is that most of them are unwilling to use WeChat Pay. For some people in remote areas are not actually accessible to WeChat or even the internet. And also the previous complex procedures drive most new customers away. The other problem is that those businesses have met several requirements not being solved, like the security of QR code, which also risks many people. And they may have difficulty recording bills and managing huge transactions. Okay, to face the requirements and solve the problems, we propel the measure of trial and then promotion. There is a huge base, which should not be forgotten. That is a professional team interview deeply with businesses, which is a core channel to get the real and detailed requirements of those merchants. So next, based on it, we tend to first create a mini program with simplified functions to satisfy the basic operation needs, and then give it several trials by retrospect the program to those interviewers, during which the program can be improved. After that, we want to promote the program to more people in need. So let's turn the page, please. Let's see the whole chain of this method. The first step guarantees the program is fully oriented to the problems, and also the interviewers themselves are actually living media of promotion. The mini program, as previously introduced, have three basic functions. It's notable that the bills are clearly recorded in the platforms, so the results of using the programs, like some successful cases, the profiting curve, can be sent to the primary organization, namely the communities, if getting the agreement of those interviewees. For propaganda in larger scale, we choose the primary organizations for further promotion, because in the special institution and specific environment of China, the community have deep connections with every citizen within the community. One community covers 30 to 100 people in general, and will regularly organize activities for citizens to participate. So it's effective to further promote the mini program through this channel, so that they can carry on regular lectures, face-to-face communications, and put up posters to enlarge the user base. So let's welcome my partner, Jiayi.
Okay, thanks, Yuyao. Well, considering the target users, those previously not accessible to WeChat Pay, the education with both depth and width is significant in promotion and expansion. In this strategy, the education reflected both offline and online. In the offline way, the NU customers are exposed to face-to-face communication with a large-based team, so that this kind of education are followed with in-time feedbacks and build trust and credit. In the online way, there is an automatic system which will appear once you click on the mini program. The course is implemented by an AI teacher created by the technical team of WeChat. If not, if the user operates correctly, it will move into the next step. If not, the AI teacher will ask several questions and give tips to ensure the user fully gets the information. You can see that the procedure is simplified and is quite simple. The user only have to pull down the page, click on the mini program, and register as taught. Then they will be instructed of the functions in detail. The advantage of online education is that the users can replay the system and rewatch the videos as they want. Next page, please. For the final part, we will do some evaluations about our two strategies. Firstly, we make a specific prediction of the timeline for our strategies to be put into practice and effect in the following years. For the first one, the website design can start in 2022, with AI operation 1 year later, and then followed by technical optimization continuously, like applying the machine learning. For mini-POS, the buying session can begin once the website is built up. Then the corporate can receive orders and enter into normal operation. For digital platform, it can make some improvements on current basis for next 1 or 2 years, and before long, the collected data can empower the whole business operation. And for insurance, it needs the investment in the early phase, and then relative services will be available in the following years. In terms of strategy 2, the interview can get started quickly to obtain demand information. On that basis, the mini program can be established and then put into trials for another half and 1 year. After receiving feedback, the program needs further optimization and finally gets promotion with marketing at the same time, which is predicted after 3 years. This process is expected to circulate periodically to offer a supply and demand matching products. Next page, please. As for estimation of the impact, we believe they will contribute and show social responsibilities. For SMEs, the WeChat usage rate is expected to increase by 10% nationwide by covering more rural and low-tier areas. They will achieve a 5% increase in revenues and a 10% increase in operation. For society, the GDP will progress due to the influence of MEs. With economic prosperity, more employment opportunities will be expected, and the government will receive more tax revenues for public welfare. Apart from that, by promoting education of technology knowledge, more rural residents and senior population will keep up with the social progress and have access to the benefit of WeChat Pay. Next page, please. Finally, we come to analyze potential risks and corresponding mitigation for SMEs. The first major risk is broken funding chain, which can be handled by lowering the threshold, offering financing plans, and improving management. The second risk is that SMEs may face fierce competition. To mitigate this, they should seek help of digital transformation and achieve data empowerment. The last risk is that they may show unwillingness to use WeChat Pay. For this problem, further education and more quality services on basis of our strategies may be able to solve it. And that's the end of our presentation. Thanks for listening, and it will be highly appreciated for any criticism and suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you, Nanjing University, for your presentation. So it is time for the Q&A session. So the 15 minutes countdown will start now. So let's hear the first question from the judges.
Hey, hi everyone. Thank you for the presentation. So very quickly, right? So looking at those implementation timelines, so you have the timeline going till 2025 and all that. And then in the impact, you mentioned your target impact is to have 5% increase in the revenue for SME, 10% efficiency. By when do you see that happening?
Maybe I will take this question. And the first is, I think it's for the impact. Why we estimate the impact at such a percent, such a large percent? Because we know that in China there are many rural areas who didn't use the smartphone or still not using the WeChat Pay, and we believe by 5 years or more years of education and quality services, we can attract more users in WeChat Pay. Hello, Qing'an, can you switch to the next page of slides? Yes, is that? And yes, and the second is for the how we estimate the revenue and the efficiency. First, I will come to the revenue because this is a very rough estimation, and because due to the limited time, and we think it still makes sense because because many SMEs, they are now facing large problem in their digital transaction, and we will come out of this strategy for that. Tencent can make more effort to help them improve their technical capability. And we believe by this, they can increase their revenue and increase their efficiencies by this percent. And if there's any more questions, so we think we are very appreciative to agree about that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Why don't I go next? Or Subin, do you have any other question?
No, I'm okay. Please go ahead.
So it's first and foremost, I think it's a good presentation. The question I have now is, you mentioned the use of AI as part of your strategy. In terms of some of the risk controls, have you thought about the privacy, customer privacy dimensions, in particular in China, with the introduction of personal information privacy law and data security law, and how are you going to manage that?
Can I just grasp the question is, if we use the AI operational system, maybe sometimes we'll hurt some of the customers' privacy.
Yes.
Okay, I also understand that question. Actually, this AI operational system is mostly used for the merchants because, take an example, if I owned a small fruit store and I should count by my pens and papers to calculate every day how many customers bought how many apples, how much apples, so that apples, pears, and many other amounts. I should calculate in hand in many of the Chinese stores. And if I can just input the amount and the account of the inventory of my store and use WeChat Pay to calculate the whole cash flow, it will make them more efficiency. So that system is for the merchants, and we just calculate the amount, so it won't use the personal private information for this system. We just use it for the enterprise to take up their efficiency.
Yeah, and I think I can make some implementation. I think we do not collect personal information of merchants. We only focus on the macro information, such as the total sales volume of a certain product in a certain region, and we will give the statistics to all our users. So I think it's not necessary for us to worry about whether we will use the merchant's personal data to do something bad to them. Yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, I want to make some supplementary, because we mentioned something in the strategy 2, because we want to use the results of the profiting conditions to make some propaganda and some promotions, but we will use the results even only if we get the agreement of those interviewees, because the privacy of the interviewees, the users are the most important thing we want to protect. And this is the principle of the promotion of ESG.
Great. Yeah, it's making sure that we get customers' consent right up front, and given their level of control and assurance, what they can share with you, as well as what they're willing to share. That's good. Thank you. Anup, do you want to?
Hi, thanks. Yeah, let me go on with my question here. Is Tencent moving away too far from its core competence and expertise, which is a payment services company, into areas which are new to them? For example, insurance, in fact, consulting, providing consulting to SME business, etc. Whilst it's a very comprehensive presentation, it does look like it's something which is not necessarily where the company right now has its expertise in. You want me to elaborate upon that?
Sorry, so can you just pardon, please? I didn't catch the actual question.
Yeah, my question is, Tencent is largely, or WeChat is largely known to be a payment services providing company, amongst many other things, etc. It doesn't have expertise in areas like, for example, providing insurance or even, for example, consulting to SMEs, etc. So many of our solutions require Tencent as a company to build up its own capabilities before they can help the other SMEs. So is Tencent moving too far away from its core competence?
Actually, that's a very important question. And before we think about come out with strategies and solutions, we mostly think about how to help SMEs in China. And but we think if Tencent can make this effort to this situation, maybe but at present it can't make so much effort, such as offering the insurance. But we believe the effort must be taken, and maybe it can reach such a big step in doing so many things. And we believe it should be a strength for a huge company in China to take the social responsibility to have the SMEs in China for better growth. So we come out some potential, maybe it's potential ways for them to follow. Maybe they can take these suggestions if they are considering about to they are considering about to help more with the SMEs growth.
Yeah, and I believe that our implementations are actually business expansions, because WeChat Pay originally focused on the payment business itself, but we think that Tencent's goal is actually to build a complete business ecosystem, which are focusing on payment service, but we think that we can maybe add some more services to it.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, I like to make some additional points. I think Tencent is already a very competitive corporation in Chinese market right now, and our strategies. We set our strategies from two different perspectives. The strategy one is aimed at those who have already used the WeChat Pay. So we want to make and provide better services for them, so we can enhance their stickiness to WeChat Pay, and that will absolutely be beneficial for Tencent itself. And our strategy too is set for those who have the potential to become the WeChat Pay users, because we know it's universally acknowledged that in Chinese special situation, there are a great amount of people who live in rural areas and low-tier cities. Many of them don't have the access to internet or WeChat devices. So we want to help them to keep up with the social progress and enjoy the benefit brought by WeChat Pay. So I think we can also think of this question from another perspective, which we want to put and emphasize on Tencent's social responsibilities, because by expanding the coverage rates of WeChat Pay, many poor people and senior population, they can use the WeChat Pay as well, and that will be all beneficial for the whole economic growth in China market. Thank you.
Yeah, and we think that we can not only bring benefits to our users, but if we can bring more users to WeChat Pay in this way, we can bring more benefits, but also to Tencent. So we think it's a win-win situation.
Thank you very much.
Can also just ask another question. So have we, in your implementation plan, I think it's good, in terms of calling out all the POCs or test plans, have you thought about the costs required for the implementation? The actual dollar cost?
I think this question is about the mini post, right? So can Qinglan just switch into the yes, this page.
No. So if you go to your implementation plan, your Gantt chart, from 2020 to 2025, have you actually thought about the cost of implementing your strategy 1 and 2? How much it's going to cost dollar-wise?
Actually, we didn't calculate the actual cost of the strategy 1 and 2, and we know that it has to cost a lot if Tencent is going to apply these 2 strategies. And we think it's a long-term strategy, so that the cost will be divided into different years. And the second thing is, we think it's because if Tencent can share or more develop its R&D talents, its R&D capability, I think it can also make revenue to its own business. So, so we think the revenue can cover the cost if we apply these 2 strategies. Thank you for your question.
Thanks. Maybe I'll try and quickly follow with one. Are there any dependencies that strategy has for its success?
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Because I think that the cost not only focus on the money, but the time and the R&D, the progress and the diligence they want. They have to put on the programs, so that it can not only be estimated in money, but the responsibility of them can be taken into account.
Thank you very much. No further questions from my side.
Okay, if no additional questions from the judges, so thank you all for the other question and answer, and the judges will now stay in the room to deliberate. And dear team, we will place you in the waiting room and bring you back in for the feedback session in a few minutes. And other people, please kindly leave the room and we will see you later for the results announcement. Thank you.